Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into something pretty unsettling today, a question that hits right at the core of who we trust. What if the very person you hired to protect your business is actually the biggest threat you face? Just think about it for a second. You've done all the right things, right? You've hired a pro, a real cybersecurity expert, to build your defenses and guard your most valuable data. You've put your trust in them. But what if that expert is actually a double agent? What if they're secretly working with the very criminals they're supposed to be protecting you from? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, but as we're about to see, this is a real and growing nightmare. And that brings us right here to the enemy within. We are talking about a totally different kind of insider threat. This isn't just about a disgruntled employee anymore. No, this is about the highly trained professionals, the ones you hand the keys of your digital kingdom to. And to show you just how real this is, let's get into a case that sent shockwaves through the entire industry: the Black Cat betrayal. Yeah, this isn't some hypothetical scenario. This is a real-world story of how trust can curdle into absolute treason. So here's the rundown. In late 2023, this story breaks. 3 American cybersecurity pros are suspected of being secret affiliates for Black Cat, one of the most ruthless ransomware gangs out there. And then, just recently, 2 of them actually pleaded guilty. Just let that sink in for a moment. The people who were paid to stop the attacks were secretly launching them. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. They weren't outsiders lurking in the shadows. They were trained professionals. That's what's so terrifying. The attackers didn't have to pick the lock. They already had the key. They knew the layout of the castle because they helped build the walls. So you're probably wondering, how'd they pull it off? Well, they used their insider knowledge. They knew the network's defenses like the back of their hand. They were experts on the security tools being used because, they probably recommended them. And most importantly, they knew exactly where the weak spots were. From there, it was easy to deploy the ransomware and demand a payout from their own clients. It's just audacious. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, scary stuff, but that's a problem for the giant corporations, right? Well, that thinking leads us straight into our next topic: a dangerous myth. Because the hard truth is, small businesses are actually the ones right in the crosshairs. Let's just tear this myth down right now. The myth is that these big-name hacker groups only go after the Fortune 500 companies. But the reality? Smaller businesses are often way easier targets. Why? Because they might not have a big dedicated IT team or the same level of security infrastructure, making them low-hanging fruit for an attacker looking for an easy payday. And believe me, the cost of getting hit is absolutely brutal. It's not just about paying a ransom. Suddenly, all your critical files are locked. Your entire operation just stops. That downtime costs a fortune. Then you've got to pay for investigators to figure out what happened. And on top of all that, your reputation takes a massive hit. Any one of those things could be a death blow for a small business. Okay, I know, that was a lot of doom and gloom, but here's the good part. You are not powerless here. And that brings us to your proactive defense plan. And listen to this part carefully. You do not need a massive budget to make a massive difference in your security. We're going to break it down into 6 simple, powerful things you can do to strengthen your defenses, like today. These aren't crazy expensive or complicated, but wow, do they pack a punch. All right, let's run through them. 1, limit access. It's simple. People should only have access to the systems they absolutely need for their job. That's it. 2, patch early, patch often. Out-of-date software is like leaving your front door wide open. 3, and this is a big one, it's non-negotiable, multi-factor authentication, especially for anyone logging in remotely. 4, train your team. They are your human firewall against phishing scams. 5, segment your network. This basically means if one area gets hit, the fire can't spread to the whole system. And finally, number 6, maintain offline backups. This is your get-out-of-jail-free card. With good backups, you can just restore your systems and tell the ransom seekers to take a hike. Now, those are all fantastic internal steps. But what about that original problem? The fox you invited into the henhouse? That takes us to our next point: choosing your allies wisely. How do you actually check out the so-called experts you're about to trust with everything? Here's your checklist. And it's just plain old common sense. Actually check their professional references. Don't just glance at them. Verify their track record. Look for proof. Confirm they have legitimate industry certifications. And here's the kicker. Ask them about their own internal security. Ask about their ethics policies. A real pro will have great answers for you. Someone who hesitates, that's a huge red flag. And all of this, everything we've talked about, it all boils down to a new mindset that's absolutely essential today. And that is trust but verify. This quote from the source material just says it all. Trust must be backed by controls, visibility, and preparation. It's not about being cynical. It's about being smart. You have to trust people to do their jobs, but you also need systems in place, controls, to make sure that trust is never, ever abused. So we'll leave you with this final, really important question. As you think about your own company, your own security, and the people you rely on, you really have to ask yourself, who are you really trusting with the future of your business?